Hi guys, how's it going? Will here. I'm doing another action figure review for you today. We're looking at the DC multiverse, Superman from McFarlane Toys. I am briefly going to talk about everything you see here, so let's just get right into it. Okay, so I do just quickly want to talk about the box. I'm not going to go too much into detail because you've probably seen a lot of people talk about these boxes. I just mainly want to talk about two things that are kind of downsides to the figure. It doesn't so much affect the figure, but first things first, you can see in there that it's torn a bit and come away from the packaging. Basically, the way that works is to get your standout in your card, you have to rip the back of the box, and then you're left with this, which, you know, I'm not a mint on card collector, but if I was ever to repackage this and sell it, that's kind of messed that up. Not that I do intend to sell it, but if we could find a way of putting the stands in and stuff without actually having to put it in a separate bubble in the back of the box, I think that would be a lot better, because I mean it does affect the packaging. And the other thing I want to talk about is up here. Okay, this is Superman's box. It says 22 points of articulation. If I now take this away, because we're not going to need it anymore, I'm quickly just going to... Oh my gosh, sorry about this, guys. I am quickly just going to show you, okay, that on Batman's box, it also says 22 points of articulation. That's going to be important in a bit, when we get to the articulation. Okay, so let's talk about the accessories. We'll start with the card, which is... it's quite a nice card, quite nice and thick. You have the image of Superman from, is it Acton Comics 1000? That's pretty good. Bring the figure in a minute. You can't really see the figure super well. Hold on, let me sort that out. And the artwork doesn't match the figure completely, but I do understand that this is just source material, and what that means is, well, it's pretty much self-explanatory. This is source material. You are never going to get a 2D image to look exactly the same as a 3D rendition of a character. I'm sorry about how awkward that was shot, but yeah. So here's your card. I think it was important that I got that out of the way. There's the back. If you want to read that, you can pause it now. There you go. I'm not going to do that for you because it goes towards buying the figure. You're not going to enjoy this figure completely if I spoil it all for you. Just my opinion. And then moving on. So you have these hands here. He comes with two of these hands. I've swapped one out already because these sort of relaxed hands are the ones that come on the figure. And then he has a gripping hand. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's a trigger hand. I can't argue it is a trigger hand, but it is just a generic gripping hand. So you can have your Superman hold things. I'm not going to moan about that because, honestly, they could have just not give us the hand. The extra hands. Batman didn't get extra hands, so I'm not going to complain about that. And they do part off really simple and easy. Not like Legends. They sort of just slip on and slip off. And I believe there's no actual... Well, here, let me show you. Yeah, so there is like a peg, if you can see. And but it just slots on there like really, really easy. See, you're not going to have to worry about that breaking. I really do commend McFarlane Toys for the way they've done the swapping out of the hands. I think that is the most effective that I've ever seen it. Okay, and then just lastly for accessories, we're going to look at the stand. I will show you this with the actual figure on it at the end when I do my final thoughts. But it's a pretty sturdy stand. You have this ratchet here. These are really tight, so they hold the figure really well. And just, yeah, thank you for including this. It's been sorely missed with a lot of domestic figures, so I'm happy with that. And I just want to show you, if I compare it to the one that came with Batman, this is really cheap and thin, not a very nice stand. I mean, it does its job, so I can't really gripe too much. But this is much better. I would have rather had this Clay stand without this, with the Batman. Or, you know what, Batman could have got this, and that would have been great, because he can grapple and everything. So I would have just said include this with a lot of your figures, really. I'm really happy with it, though. Right, let's look at Superman. So, aesthetically, first things first. Are you going to focus? There you go. I think it actually has the best Superman head sculpt out of all of the Superman figures that we've had, or all the ones that I have in my collection. I'm really happy with this head sculpt. The hair is cool and glossy, so that's exactly how I want my Superman's hair to be. And then just moving down, you will see he has like these. At first I thought they were veins, but I don't think they are. They're like seams in his suit. He has this awesome raised S crest. I'm really happy with that. I think that's done very nicely. The Batman is done the same. It's like a separate piece put in. But it just looks so much better on the Superman. And then obviously the sculpt of the musculature is really good as well. As you can see, this is all like an external piece. So the trunks and stuff hiding the articulation inside. That's a real smart move. There you go, there's his legs. A lot of people say he has really thin legs. But it doesn't actually bother me too much. Once you pose these figures around, you can't notice that. It is a really little gripe. Just doesn't seem to be a big deal at all, really. And then going down to the boots are fashioned really, really well. So I'm really liking how they've done that. And then just turning around, you can see that, unfortunately, they didn't sculpt the S on the back of the cape. I thought at first that might have been because of all these, like, like wrinkles and stuff. But I've seen them do that before, so I don't know. Does Action Comics 1000 Superman not have that? If so, then it's accurate. But he looks like a classic Superman, so I argue that he probably should have come with that. Now we're moving on to the articulation in a second. I just want to quickly say first that one of the only gripes I've found with this figure, as far as the aesthetics go, is you see where the ball peg is in the wrist. I may have done that skin coloured. I'm not sure. I can't make my mind up. But I don't know. I feel like it makes the hand look longer. Like the arm, the whole forearm. Maybe that should have been like a skin colour. But yeah, that's like the only gripe I can find, and it's a very little one. So, articulation. Now the head feels like it works just as well as the Batman. Look, if I show you like this, he still has the same range of motion, and he can look really far up. The problem with it is, I don't know what's going on, but there's like teething problems with the way they've done this head. It feels, when I turn it, or I'll show you just a little bit, look. Do you see like that is pushing back? It like wants to fight me. So I'm assuming that's just a teething problem, and eventually that will work itself out. I don't know. But arms go all the way out. You have a bicep swivel. Didn't really show you that very well. There you go, bicep swivel, single jointed elbow. Works really nice. Doesn't break the sculpt up all too much. You have like a little elbow in there, which is cool. It's cool the way they engineered that. And then obviously, like I said, you have the ball peg at the wrist, so do with that whatever you want. And then let's get his arms out the way. Right, so the top bit of the articulation has a little bit of range, and it's nice. It works really nice and smooth. So I'm pretty happy with that. It works much better though when you combine it with like the lower abdomen joint as well. So that looks really cool. You can obviously get him in some awesome poses. I've seen a lot of people say they can't pose this figure, and I'm just like, well, you're really an action figure fan if you can't pose it. Because I've had no problems. I can get him in flight poses and everything. Bizarre, really. There we go. So the leg kicks out about that much. It's not a lot, and it kind of, if you push it more, it will go out to the side. You can do that, but it will go out to the side. He has a double jointed knee. Works quite well. It's a little bit gappy, but, you know, hopefully you're not going to notice that too much. And then he just has, like, the ankle rocker and the hinge on the ball peg for the legs. So, you know, like, the articulation, the sculpt, the paint, it's all there with this figure. He's actually pretty brilliant. One of my favourite figures of the year so far, and I would hazard a guess to say as well, he's probably one of the best Superman figures that has ever been released. I mean, obviously there's the NECA one, which another one as well is these new McFarlane figures. They do feel like they're better quality than some other figures, I'll say that. They feel like a NECA product or something, or better than NECA products, because the NECAs I've bought have been brittle and stuff. This guy's pretty good actually. The whole figures in the way feel really durable, and like they don't feel like they're gonna break easy. So I mean, that's pretty awesome. And like I was gonna say, like the NECA one is stylized in a way, and there's just a few things about that figure I don't like. Mainly, so like one of my big problems was like I was really hoping they'd do cloth capes with this guy, but then like with the NECA ones, it just looks oversized, like he's playing Superman with a bedsheet and not actually Superman, do you know? So I don't know how I feel about cloth good capes and stuff, but this cape is done really nice. It curves in, as you can see there. It falls nicely. These capes are really dynamic. Same with the Batman. Once you get them posed, the capes look really dynamic and they help. Right, now quickly we're going to do some comparisons. I'm not going to go mad with this. I'm just going to show you a few comparisons. So let's first bring in the Batman. The McFarlane Batman. I really like this figure, by the way. He's, like, I don't know. I think they're both really good. I can't make my mind up as of yet which one I like more. So real good job, McFarlane, with your figures. They look really cool. Let's move Batman off and bring in the DC Essentials Batman. And this absolutely works for me. This is what I want my Superman and Batman to look like. So these guys are going to be the main focus of my main DC shelf. And I'm going to have these guys stood next to each other. That's my Batman. That's my Superman. I'm so happy to finally have these stood next to each other like this. I've already said, you know, I absolutely love this Batman. The articulation feels smoother. The whole figure feels smoother on the other Batman. But my God, this is the Batman aesthetic for me. And he just looks so good next to Supes. And then lastly, I'm just going to bring in a Marvel Legends, and you can see that these figures stand a lot taller than a Legend. So, I mean, you might be able to fudge it. I won't be doing this. If I wanted a Superman figure to meet Captain America, I'd use a DC UC personally. I don't think that works very well, to be fair. Okay, so final thoughts. I really love this figure. He's definitely going to make my top 10 for the year. If you are a DC fan, you haven't picked these up yet, then I would definitely suggest you jump on this, because this is something special. I mean, I can say that for all of the figures, but honestly, no, this Superman is really good. There you go, I've got him in a sort of jumping off pose there on his stand, so you can see. It is quite durable, holds him quite well. He's rocking a bit now because I've just moved it, but it is super sturdy. You can just keep it like that for hours and hours if you so wish. So definitely buy this figure if you haven't already. It will fit in with your other 7-inch DC figures, so that is a bonus. And just on its own, it's a really good figure. If you're collecting figures at the minute, you definitely should buy at least one of these McFarlane toys just to see how they feel. Alright, I'm going to end it there today, guys, so thank you very much for watching. I might review the Hellbat. Let me know if you guys want to see that, comment and like and stuff, and I'll definitely show off Hellbat as well. Apart from that, I'm pretty much done here now, so have a good day. like and subscribe and all that stuff. I hope you're doing well at the minute, because the world's going absolutely mental. But it'll get better soon. Right, peace.